Right, so we are now live. Kevin, welcome to the Stephen Brown Lunchtime Learnings. Very grateful that you've given up your lunchtime to share your learnings with everybody watching today, whether it's on now or whether it's on replay. Pleased to tell everybody you can actually listen to this as a podcast. So it is now on iTunes, Stephen Brown. Lunchtime Learnings as well, and it's on Spotify and it's on Anchor and it will be on Google. So very exciting. You must be very popular, Kevin, because I've never seen so many people come on straight away. They must have been waiting for them. So have you been telling all your friends and family that this is it? This is your moment?
I probably paid a few people, Stephen.
Okay, well look, I'm really grateful for you coming on today, so thanks very much and thanks for your time. So for people that don't know you, Kevin, hi Andrea, thanks for joining us from Scotland. Hi Michael, thanks very much for joining us. I hope your leg is better. So please like it, share it, give Kevin loads of love because he's going to share so much gold as to why Pygott and Crone are serial award winners, which is exceptional. So please tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become an estate agent? And you're doing well. 30 years of Pygott and Crone. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
It's a long time. I think I became an estate agent really because I'd been trying to be a footballer for a while and I wasn't that good. I thought I was going to watch. So I think I got to the age of about 23, 24 and had the opportunity to play. No, that's not right. I need to find a career. And it was at the time Prudential were acquiring multiple branches in the UK and just starting out acquiring people like Eakins, Dillian Hanley, the old Ern and Lawrence, which is where I joined on their last day. And I just saw it as an opportunity to come into something with no experience and have a go, really. I didn't really know what was involved. So I came into the Pru as it was then, had some great training, some great grounding with the team there. And then we set up Pygott and Crone in 1991. And I've been here ever since, really. And it's just evolved and developed and changed and re-evolved. So it's been an interesting journey, really.
Brilliant. Well, I see you've got a massive fan here, Paul Wood. He said you could have put a better tyre on, Kevin. It's nice of him, isn't it?
It's a new tyre.
Very kind. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Appreciate it. Hi, Sarah. Thanks very much for joining us. Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us as well. Really appreciate it. So, I like that comment from Paul. Okay, I'm sure you have words after.
We will.
That's great. So, how's the market at the moment? How are you finding things? I mean, I look at Twitter and I just see Pygott and Crone, deal. And what I love is you are incredibly grateful to your team for what they're doing. And, you know, I love that. The praise that I constantly see from you is absolutely fantastic. So what's been working really well for you?
I think as we were talking earlier, Stephen, we're a really focused team. We're really intense. We've got a great management team. We've probably got a management team of about 10 that have come through the company with us. They've started as negotiators, worked their way through valuers, managers. And obviously not everybody's good to transfer. A good valuer doesn't necessarily make a good manager. But these 10 are really current at the moment, I think. They've got good experience between them. They're energized. They have a sports culture as well as a business culture, which I think helps a little bit. But we literally have our performance live on a screen all day long, especially Paul and myself. I'll mention him because he's on here now. I won't pick on him all the time. But we can see when a sale goes. We're driving for 200 sales a month since we've come back from lockdown, and we've achieved that every month so far. This month we are experiencing a slight slowdown at the moment. We've hit 170 just before we've come on today. We should get to 175, 180 by close of business with the offers we've got pending, and we should scrape to our 200. The best month we've had is 254 in July, I think it was. But the team have really bought into it. It's just this constant engagement. It almost has become like well, we'd have to do 10 sales a day. It's our mantra to try and do 10 sales a day across the group. And it's been really good to see some of the new young staff that, and I say young in terms of experience, are sort of really embracing it and contributing to it. So it's sort of, I suppose it came from working on Teams when we was in lockdown, and we just kept everybody really engaged through constant conversation, and we've just carried it on as we've come back, really. So it's kept that focus really, really well.
I mean, they're phenomenal numbers, so congratulations. That's amazing. So how have you created that culture?
Again, I think that's evolved, because I think the one thing I've learned over the years in this business is that everything changes and continues to change, and you either fight change or embrace change. And I think you can't say what worked last month necessarily works this month, or you're facing the same problems. Every branch we have is in slightly different markets. They always seem to be in slightly different time zones of performance. So you've got to be pretty hands-on and pretty individual with each location. But we have a very simple philosophy, and that's that we treat everybody as though we'd want to be treated ourselves. We treat everybody as though they're a member of our family, and we aim to exceed anybody's expectations. Now that sounds a brave statement, but we can manage those expectations before we agree what we're going to exceed, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's working within our community. I mean, one of the things that I find really interesting is when people talk about tech, people, and you probably, I don't know, you've seen in the past, I'm a big people fan. I'm a massive tech fan as well, but I'm people first, tech second, which I think is different to some people. I think tech improves efficiencies and helps you to develop your business, but people really make the difference in your business. And I think that's the key to our culture, the way we treat our clients, the way we encourage our teams to be at the forefront of the industry, really.
Fantastic. So I'm really interested about this performance live. So how have you created, for some people that may scare the living daylight out of them, that they can actually see what's going on. How have you managed to overcome that? Or is it just actually, maybe this isn't right for you? Thank you.
No, I think, well, we have a mixture of experience in our teams. So we've got, when we came back from furlough, we just employed a number of new trainees back in December to come into this year when this happened. I'm pleased to say that we brought all of those trainees back, and they've come into the business with limited experience, but are working with experienced people. So we don't expect them, a normal negotiator for us is targeted to provide or produce 10 net sales. That's the average target for them. Obviously, a trainee is not targeted like that. They're encouraged to progress as quickly as possible. We pay commission on performance, but we don't really want to pay commission for a hard sell rather than a good customer service, good customer experience. So it's getting everybody involved into that culture, into that team. We come in, we enjoy it. We're ultra competitive in the right way. We don't worry too much about what our competition does in any location. We're respectful of our competition, and we do look at what they do. But at the end of the day, we have to not get distracted by other people and be confident in our own journey. And I think it's, as I said, the management team's been key. They've been here, most of them, a good while, and they've got good leadership skills, and they support their staff all the way through. And the live is a bit of, I don't know whether I'm allowed to say which software we use or anything like that. I don't really want to be an advertiser, but with the software that we use, we're able to dial into a lot of data quickly.
You can say whatever you want. It makes no difference.
Okay, well, I think we use Repeat, and we've used it for a good time. Paul Wood is very, very good. We've linked our web services and our Pygott Plus account and everything through that, and it gives us real transparency really quickly on what we're doing, and we can dial into any numbers, any performance of anything in the business with what we built in combination with them.
And do you do one-to-ones or growth sessions with them regularly?
Not regular enough. Certainly not in the last 6 months. We normally have a managers meeting every month. We normally have a valuers meeting every month. And Paul and myself would attend an office. I'd be in each branch at least once a week normally. So it's pretty much Paul and myself that do the coaching direct, and we do the training here at HQ. And again, it's Paul and myself. So we have a very close relationship with everybody who joins the company. We interview everybody ourselves. All employment is done by Paul and myself. It sounds a bit dictatorial, but it's not. It's we know what we're looking for. We know that, you know, the person we want, and it's somebody with a really good attitude and a nice personality and honesty and trust. And we don't really need them to be a great salesperson. We just need them to be really good at looking after customers' service and understanding people.
So what sort of questions then are you asking to find out whether they've got the right attitude, the right personality, and that you can trust them?
I think you know straight away if somebody's a nice person or not, really. I think you get a sense, and I suppose genuine. So we don't have a preset interview technique. It's just about meeting people. The first thing we'll say to them is, look, just relax. It's not an interview. We're here to meet you, have a conversation, see whether you think we're a company you want to work for, see whether we think you're somebody that would fit in with our current team. And I think it's important that the team gels. You know, there's no individual in any of our, there'll be a top seller, obviously, and there's always somebody who wants to be top, but we survive because we're a tight team. Everybody buys into what we're doing, and it's important that the team has a balance.
How would you onboard their new starters?
Under normal circumstances, they would. So we've just employed 3 people this week, which sounds a bit bizarre, but we have. We've employed 3 to start next month. We'll onboard them differently to normal, but normally we'd probably onboard about 5 people at a time. They'd become their own group, so that's probably 5 different office locations. We would build them as a contact group, so that they do referrals together, they bounce ideas off one another as well as their local team. And they would come in for 3 days induction training with Paul and myself. Then they'd go into the mortgage team and the valuation team. So they'd probably spend about 4 weeks going into different teams and seeing the business and watching the business. They'd then go out to a branch with a mentor, i.e. one of the managers or a senior negotiator, and they'd work with them. And then they'd come back into us again, probably a couple of months later, and we'd review their experiences and any issues. But we would be visiting them every week anyway. And then it just grows from there, really, Stephen, depending on that. Everybody, what we find is not everybody suits a particular branch. So, for instance, Lincoln, which is very high volume, intense, doesn't fit everybody. Somebody might work just as well in a slower market town, but it's just finding the right balance for them, really, as well.
Yeah, and actually it's very appropriate because I think today is World Mentoring Day, and I know we've got Sarah Edmondson from Agents Together on, who's doing the most incredible job, as is Sam Offley, so thank you. And I know they've posted a couple of things out about mentoring today, so I think Agents Together is doing the most incredible job. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well done, Sarah. Well done, Sam, and all the founders. Incredibly grateful for what they're doing, which is great. Hopefully, you're involved, Kevin.
No, I'm not involved. No.
Oh, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I'm joking. I did that last time and it worked. So, but I don't want to. I know you're incredibly busy, so thank you. So I love that, having a tight group. And do they all talk to each other and help each other and encourage each other? Or is that down to you to mentor them as well? Or they're self-mentoring and have a buddy?
To be honest, I think the most important thing is that they just see me as a person and see me as part of the team. The day-to-day, they work with their team and their manager. We don't really talk about titles much in this company. For me, they're worthless. At the end of the day, we're a team, you know, and we'll make the tea, we'll sweep the office, we'll do whatever it is. And we've always had that ethos. And I think I don't really want people to think, oh, there's a problem if I walk in, or don't get me wrong, I can be firm when I need to be firm. But at the end of the day, it's nice not to be in that position because you've kept everything running smoothly in advance of that, really. So the team work together. they're all different. They're all individuals. I mean, I've got some people who are exceptional at working and training people, and I've got other people that aren't as good. But collectively, there's somebody in each branch that will make that work.
Fantastic. So we're joined by Gareth Southgate, aka Richard Taylor, who I think you know very well. He says, yes, Kevin. So thanks for joining, Gareth. We are honoured with your presence. I think you won last time, so well done. So let's talk about RAN, because I know, I think, did you win it back last year from, or did...
No. Did they win it? I don't know. I can't remember who won it last year, actually.
I know. See, you don't worry about your competition, but I know you found RAN. I mean, what made you join RAN in the first place, and what did you get from it?
Yeah, we joined RAN, I think, over 25 years ago now, when it was PHH back in the day. I think the biggest thing you get from RAN is camaraderie and support. The agents that are in it are always very helpful. The conferences are good, as most conferences are these days, but RAN is very good. It's a massive listing tool, I think, if you use it correctly for winning instructions. The fact that you've got 600 or so associated offices, and if you've got somebody moving from a particular location and you know the agent well there, you can refer that client there and trust that they're going to get the service, and it helps you extend your service. We've been on the advisory council ever since we've been a member of RAN in different, I think Paul's now our 4th advisory council member. And I think it's quite nice to give something back in that network as well. And I think, you know, we are very open and huge supporters of any member of the network. But above all, I really enjoy it. I enjoy being involved with it. I still don't let go of it at every conference. I think one of the biggest benefits of it is we've been to America the last 5 years, and you know, Gareth and his friends came with us not long ago. I think when they won it, I think that might have been a while ago. I don't know, but they're great lads, great company. They came with us, and I think we've learned a lot from the American system as well. So we've been able to work with Coldwell Banker, Century 21, ERA, most of the big brands out there, Realogy, Carter's. And you see things from a different perspective. And I think about 5 years ago, the first time we went, we came away with this brand culture service message clearer than anything. And it was a huge game changer to us in the way we sort of looked at our company. We didn't really promote our brand or really value it as high as what we should have done. We needed to get this culture in. We needed people to understand our culture. And more importantly, we needed to raise the bar on our service above anything we've ever experienced. And we learned this in America, in the hotels, in the conference, in the speakers. Every element is just, this is a different level, and we need to aspire to create a new level. And I think the next time we went, we learned about the importance of transparency and open and honest marketing. Don't be afraid to be transparent. And the last time, it wasn't last year, the year before, the conference was all about change. And I think that it was quite apt at the time. And it's probably quite apt now that we're all thinking, how do we change? How do we go forward? What do we do? And as I said earlier, the one thing that's for definite, you have to constantly change. You have to be brave enough to make some decisions. You'll fail. If you think you're never going to fail, then, you know, I don't know anybody who can honestly say that we didn't do something that didn't work. So be prepared to fail and learn from it, but don't lose the focus on what you're trying to achieve.
Fantastic. What else did you bring back from America? So, I mean, you talked about exceeding customer expectations. So, you know, would you be kind enough to share a couple of examples of what you've done to exceed your customers' expectations?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, we started off with, we didn't really record the customer's view of the service they got from Pygott and Crone. So we started with an initial internal review system because we was a little bit nervous, if I'm honest. I was thinking, oh, this could go horribly wrong. We're actually saying, what do you think? And obviously now we're FIFO and we're Platinum FIFO, and it's been able to change within the culture. It's changed the perspective of what's right and what's wrong. So you can sell and you can hard sell, but at the end of the day, we want We want the customer for life. We don't want the customer for today. We want the customer's family. We work in a rural county. We're probably at 60% repeat business. We have a very loyal client base, and that's a factor that helps us stay, as a leading agent in the industry, really.
I mean, it's scary. I find that 95% of agents just don't have any stay in touch policy at all, and just view it as it's a one-off transaction, where actually I think it's a fantastic point that you made. Well, hold on, they may have family, they may have friends, they may have colleagues. And if you look at it as your lifetime value as a client, I don't know what would your average fee be for one sale there?
It's about £3,000 at the moment.
Okay, so if agents looked at this lifetime value to say, well, actually, instead of a one-off transaction of 3,000, that lifetime value is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000. I'm sure every listing will be treated very, very differently than, oh, we're going to get £3,000 now.
Yeah, I think too often, I use the word singular. Too often people think too singularly. They think it's a single transaction, but really that client is an ongoing client, and many of your clients become friends when you work. And this is why I'm just not going to digress a little bit, Stephen. Sorry. This is why I think that I started in corporate life, and corporate agency trained me that we were much better than independents because we were bigger. Let me tell you, I've been in corporate and I've been in independent. You are never going to be that independent agent that works in his community, supports his community, and gives a really good service to his clients. And that's one thing that I think is really important, that you give something back to your community, you work with your community, and you give this level of service to people. And they will come back to you because you become their trusted advisor and their friend. And bear in mind, most people change a mortgage probably every 2 years. Certainly 5-year fix is about the longest. You've got so many opportunities to re-engage with that client. So it's not just about selling a house. Sometimes you have to do a loss leading. We'll go and look at something for them, or we'll just give them some advice. But at the end of the day, you want that client to come back to you without having to fight for it on a fee war or a valuation war every time you go out.
100%. So why do you think most agents allow their clients to go into witness protection and never speak to them?
I think it's that singular thought. It's I think valuers, and I think again, this is sometimes where the team element goes out of it. A valuer will go and win instructions sometimes, then leave it to somebody else to negotiate. I mean, every valuer hates vendor checks. I don't think anybody really likes vendor checks, but I think you've got to change that. You've got to make that vendor check as part of the service. You've got to make it beneficial. And if you're giving clients good advice and the correct advice from day one of the journey, because you understand their objectives, their financial position and everything, you can work much better with them. And, you can't just be singular. You've got to want that family, the grandfather, the grandson, the recommendation. But you're only going to get that if genuinely they feel you are the best person for the job.
Brilliant. I love that. Just want to come back to something you said between corporate and independent. So I know you're chairman of the independent agents group, is it?
Yeah.
About 23 minutes ago, I'd never heard of, and it's been going, and it's been going a long time. So just tell us a little bit more about that and how that works.
Yes, it's not a group that's shouted about. It was formed in 1981 by a number of agents way before me. Keith Johnson got me involved from Jay Wood up in Durham, who again from a RAN connection. And we've got some really good agents involved, and it's nothing. We don't promote ourselves as a buying group. We're not dictatorial in any way when we talk to suppliers. We're all independent, but what we do is we share advice, we share guidance. And there's some fantastic people on this group, and we can just at the moment we have a Zoom meeting once a month, and we'll discuss property portals. COVID-19 policy, sales performance, valuation, survey, conveyance, anything, any aspect. It can be anything. Staff, training, marketing. It's a really good group, and I mean it's a diverse group from a one office practice through to a 20+ office practice. but we're all friends. We all, I believe, share the same values in the industry. And it's just nice. And I would say this to anybody. It doesn't have to be that group or whatever. If you've got a group of people that you meet in the industry and you get on really well, keep it together. Don't be afraid to share ideas. If you're not in direct competition, especially. And sometimes there'll be a day when they make your life a lot easier, when you're probably struggling a little bit, and you can just make that call and the help's around the corner. So for me, there's no way that you do what you're doing now without the help and support of other agents in this industry. And it is a very tight-knit group of people, and there's a lot of people that are always prepared to help.
I mean, I'm very grateful for you coming on today and sharing all your, what has made you successful and your insights, which is great. Because I know when I was an agent 25 years ago, and somebody said, "Oh, you're going to speak to your competitor." I know you talked about America. I went to America 21 years ago for a conference out there, Realtors Conference, and I know they were talking about WWW, and my MD said to me, "So what did you learn?" So I said, "Oh, there's something called WWW, but you don't need to worry about that."
Yeah.
So I got that a bit wrong, but I know then that, I would never collaborate with my competition or have a conversation or with other estate agents. And I think the collaboration now and everybody wanting to raise the standards and make a massive, massive difference is fantastic, and it's great to see. And there's so many collaborations. I've got a couple of mastermind groups. I know you've got the Property Academy, you've got RAN, you've got the Guild, you've got, there's so many things, and it's great to see that so many agents are willing to share and help. One thing that does get me, and it'd be interesting to know your opinion, is there's loads of great ideas and you're sharing loads of great stuff. The best agents to me are the ones that implement stuff and take action and hold their team accountable. So how does that work for you, please?
What, they're taking action or they're holding the team accountable?
There you go.
Yes, I think focus and intent. I think you touched on it earlier when you said you wouldn't speak to your competition. If you'd have told me when I started coming out of a sports background into this that I'm going to be speaking to a competition, I would struggle. I wouldn't even go in a pub where they were. And I like pubs, but
so what changed?
You learn. I'm still ultra competitive. I like to think in the towns where we are, if it's between 7:30 and 7:30, then we're competitors. If I see somebody in a bar now, I'm quite able to just say hello rather than sort of ignore them. But I don't see agents from other areas as competitors really, and I don't see that I can't share ideas with them. In fact, I'm more than happy to, and we have done, and likewise they have done for me. And as I say, somewhere along the line you'll pick up something that is really, really helpful, and you'll never take the competition out of a estate agency. And if you do, then, well, what's the point, really? I mean, if you don't want to be better than the agent next door or the agent down the road, then we are probably in the wrong industry. But what is better? Is it the most listings on Rightmove? Is it the most profit? Is it the best service? Everybody has a different view of what's the best. I mean, there was a time when every agent in a town was number one at something, and they'd advertise it. But you've got to be content with what you're doing, and you've got to be comfortable. Looking at our teams, we are targeted, we are performance driven. We do work with those targets all the time. We are focused. We are competitive with our competitors, and I think we've got a good balance between the focus and intensity on delivering target, making sure we deliver the service, and setting realistic, achievable goals that we're happy with. But it changes every day. I always say to my managers, look, running the branch is like spinning plates. If you're selling well, your exchanges won't be coming through, and that's a good point at the moment. But if your mortgages are down and your listings are up and you're spinning plates all the time. You need to have a sixth sense where to just go and respin. And it's not always shouting at somebody. Sometimes it's coaching. Sometimes it's just we've lost the skill of qualification or applicant registration. It can be any number of things, but I think when you've been in it a long time, you have a sense for when that's going to happen, so you can jump in quicker. So it's a constant. It's never going to be right tomorrow. There's going to be something tomorrow that you've got to spin that plate again.
100%. So you talked about constipated pipelines, which I'm sure you're having as well as the whole country is having. Again, what tips can you give to try and get those days on market? What are you doing to get those days on market down? I appreciate there's certain things that, we're not in control of, whether it's searches, lenders, but, are there tips you can share that they can, if it can shave a day or a week, it's going to make a difference?
Yeah, I think, we, as part of our AML checks, we download every property title. And the fact that we're able to, we work with live conveyancing, and as part of that, they can now take our title rather than wait to do it. And that saved us 3 days on average. I only know that because we had a meeting with them this week. So, but there's lots of things you can do. We're now looking at, can we really encourage people to start the legal process earlier? Can we get them to engage with the solicitor as quickly as possible? And again, that's a business opportunity and a benefit to your client. For me, there's tech in the industry that will help you, but we're too disjointed. I could invest in tech and it would improve my process, but as soon as I hit another firm or another solicitor, the tech doesn't matter. So the system's I think the system's broke at the moment. We've gone from like exchanges in 24, 48 hours, 4 weeks, many, many years ago. We're now seeing 16 to 20 weeks. We're seeing searches delayed. For me, commercially, the legal system's got to look at the way it delivers, and it's got to perform better. And that's not a criticism. That's not just aimed at the solicitors. That's the bit that you think it's aimed at, but there's all the bits along the journey as well. Local authorities, agents. Some of the chains that you come across are not put together very well. Some of the financial qualifications non-existent. So again, I think that's an industry training standard to make sure that when we say a house is sold, we've got all the information that we need. So I think it is a very disjointed process, and it's even more frustrating now as you've gone through Brexit, you've come out of COVID, you're probably selling way in excess of what you'd expected, and your pipeline's growing, and all you're worried about now is how much of that will fall off. How protected is that pipeline? And like most of the agents, and again, I'm sure Iag won't mind me mentioning, most of those agents are running double their pipeline they were a year ago. And I think if we're getting 18 to 20% through, we are probably market leaders at getting our completions at the moment. There's people down as low as 12% of their pipeline. So it's going to be a huge challenge. Hopefully the next four months is going to see positive conversion. But again, simultaneous exchange and completion, nervousness, working from home, local authority. I think you've got to spread your pipeline over 6 months now rather than 3 and finance your business on that basis. But I don't think we're going to fix it very quickly.
Okay, great advice. Thank you. So I know you've got a marketing background as well. Rumour has it. And I noticed that you've got a pumpkin carving competition going on at the moment. Gone live today. So what's that about? And then, how frequently have you got a marketing calendar for the year?
We pretty much do have. I mean, we've kept a low profile the last 4 months on some of the things we would have got involved in normally. The sort of things we do, we sponsor a lot of sport in the county, and we support. We probably say if it's children, medical, and local, we'll probably get involved. So schools, sport, medical issues, we try and get involved as much as we can. You can't do everything, and there's different things at different times that affects people's lives, and probably we need to understand that sometimes. But the pumpkin one, we've done that. We don't do the same thing every year. I think it's 4 years since we did the pumpkin competition, and I just thought we haven't got involved in the school meals thing. And probably we a bit late coming to the table on that, and we probably should have got involved in that really with some of the local restaurants here are doing a fantastic job. And I just thought, what can we do to sort of cheer up the back end of half term? So we just sort of decided to relaunch that, the pumpkin competition, and try and get as many children involved and have a little award for it. We've got another competition coming out at Christmas for the children again. We give some rewards and get them involved. But it's double-edged, don't forget. The brand awareness is fantastic when you get everybody involved. We've committed today to the, because we missed the school meals, we've recommitted to the Christmas hamper appeal around here, where we support families that, probably need a bit of support at Christmas. And so that will go live on Monday. We do all the normal British Heart Foundation, Macmillan, St Barnabas, because that's affected all of us. And then we're heavily involved in the sports and everything we're involved in, because it's part of the community and you link it all has more meaning, really. I don't think there's any point getting involved in something that you're not prepared to commit to just to say, I've put my name on it, because that doesn't give you a return. It's the putting your name on it and supporting it and getting involved with it that gives the brand the credibility, really.
Fantastic. So I know also you give a 10% discount for blue light cards or defence, can't read my own writing, or defence privilege cards, which I think is lovely as well.
I think, as I said to you, we're a forces county. We've got a lot of RAF. We're always appreciative. We're very proud of our forces. We're very proud of our police service, and we're very proud of the NHS. And I would think we often give more than 10%, if I'm honest. It was an opportunity to do it and to advertise it, and we did. But we think they do a great job in our county. We've got an organisation called Lives that we are that my co-director Tim Downing's on the trustees of, and John Pygott was originally, and that's the emergency response team here in Lincolnshire. And they're absolutely amazing. The lives that they have saved across the county is phenomenal. So we appreciate everything they do. One day it is you. That's all I'll say. It does happen to all of us. And one day you're really appreciative that you've got those people around the county.
Okay, that's lovely. Really, really nice. What about you? What do you do to self-improve and get better?
Try and leave it to the people. No, I think, to be honest, I'll talk to anybody about anything. I'll listen to I won't always agree. I am pretty outspoken at times. People will always say I have an opinion, and I will always give it, really. Sometimes I shouldn't, I'm sure. But I think accepting that there's always room for improvement, accepting you're not always right, that's quite hard. But no, this is where I think the group of agents you've got to know over the years. I mean, it's not just in the ag and it's not just in RAN. And one of the points I wanted to touch back on was you don't have to be in a network to be a group of people. There's some great people in the industry, and they don't all have to be estate agents. Some could be suppliers, some could be trainers or anything. So I think it's sharing ideas, it's talking to people, and it's always looking to improve. I think is the key. Always be prepared to change. I think we're going to go through this process now. The dialogue at the moment is what's the future of a estate agency? We've been through the digital, the high street, the online. At the end of the day, estate agents should be doing all of it, in my opinion. But and it is still very much a people business. But do you need as big a high street offices? We've got quite large high street offices. Do we need them as big? Probably not. Do we diversify a little bit? Do we look at a Lincoln central office being a hub for some peripheral office? I don't. These are all things and thoughts that you're having at the moment. How can you evolve your business, diversify your business, improve your business? Really, it's a constant.
That's all right. For builders to come to say hello as well. See, you can tell it's live, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. It's all happening real time. Okay, so I think last year you won Website of the Year, another award that you picked up. Yeah,
I mean, I suppose that's one of the biggest changes for us. We actually, because I've been in marketing before, we have our own marketing team, we have our own designers, we have our own web guys, and they're a different character, a web coder, web designer. If you give them a cupboard and a computer, they're happy and don't talk to them too much. But then it's a massive benefit for us. Mike's built some fantastic tech for us here in the way that we can analyse the business. One of the latest things he built is we analyse all of our portal enquiries. We know what the goals of those enquiries are, where they go to, whether they're worth pursuing. I think for me, I find portals a little bit frustrating, so we're getting onto portals now, I suppose, dangerous ground. They like in lockdown, I spoke to a few of the portals, and we talked about lead generation, lead quality, and we seem not to understand that lead generation and lead quality are two totally different things. So what Mike's been able to do for us, he's been able to make sure that the lead quality is assessed and we deal with the right lead at the right time, the most efficiently. And we've actually done that by putting what we call, I'll use Rightmove as an example, and I'm not going to get involved in the debate of Rightmove or right, because I think Rightmove is the go-to place for the public at the moment. I know there's other things on the horizon, but with Rightmove you get a very diverse client. You get somebody who clicked the button in error and you can't contact for 3 days, and you try, and you get somebody who's genuinely really proactive. And so what we've done is we've dropped a little form in there that they have to fill in, that if they don't bother filling it in, we obviously know they're not that motivated. If they do fill it in, we know they're very motivated. And it just allows us to know which one to push to the best salespeople and which one to push to more of a service-orientated communication. And it's been really beneficial. So that's one of the things he's built during lockdown that we found a huge advantage to us.
His name's not Michael Cartwright by any chance, is it?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. He's, we're not talking about him too much because obviously he'll be knocking on the door about his salary. He's made a few mistakes as well. I'm coming in very shortly to ask for a pay rise, and Paul Wood's just gone laugh out loud. Get back in your cupboard, Mike. There you go. Look, a couple of final questions, because I'm really grateful for how long you've given everybody today. So thank you. And there's some amazing comments on here. So great session, really good session. It's so important to give back. Enjoying this session very much. So thank you. So what are your non-negotiables? So if there were 3 non-negotiables, what would they be for you? Contract. I won't do a joint or a multi-agency. Non-negotiable. Pygott & Crone is purely a sole agency agent. I think that's quite unique. I won't bend on that at all. Not for corporate, large-scale business or anything. And I won't do introductory only on new homes. So they're 2 black and white non-negotiables straight away. I suppose a non-negotiable in my staff is I won't tolerate selfish people. You've got to have a good attitude, and you've got to care about your colleagues, and you've got to care about your client. 3rd non-negotiable, Mike Cartwright's pay rise, non-negotiable.
I'm sorry, Mike. Thanks very much. And final question, if you were starting off again today, what would you be doing differently, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, that's a really good one, that is. You would definitely be doing things differently. I think that's the first thing to admit. I think creating our HQ was a bit slower than some of the other agents, but it's been amazing to do that, because we have out-of-hours services, which is massive, and we use Moneypenny for overspill support after that. I don't think I'd be investing in lots of large premises. I think I would definitely be saying, right, where's my key location? Let's put a main HQ there, and then let's have smaller satellite offices in other locations. I think I still have offices at the moment. But I don't think you need sort of the old traditional buildings that we have. And I don't necessarily think you need to be town centre anymore. Footfall is nothing like it used to be. I'm not probably quite sure that I see the future as some do, where it's just a person within a house doing estate agency with tech. I think it can be a person within a community that's well known in the community, doesn't have to have an office, but I think they have to have all the other values of the community there. But I think there's definitely going to be a swing to, you don't need as much invested in premises, and I think if you do have locations, they probably can be smaller. I think we need to continue to embrace technology to make the journey 24/7 very visible, very easy, but not lose the personal skills. I think you're probably looking at a different person today than what you was 10 years ago. So I think the other thing is that what worked 2 years ago has changed today. So it's a constant change. But I'm really pleased that we've embraced technology, and that's Paul and Mike more than me. And I'm really pleased that we've embraced that with some of our suppliers, and we've been able to create efficiencies. But equally, I'm really pleased you haven't lost the core values and the skills with the people.
Okay, am I allowed to?
Stephen, sorry.
That's all right. Am I allowed to ask one final question, because you've just given me another one from there? Sorry. Okay. You touched on out of hour service, and I know you mentioned Moneypenny and Moneypenny are exceptional, but what do you mean by out of hours? Because I agree, now we're in a very different world. People's expectations are, well, I can order on Amazon, it'll come in an hour. I can order Uber and it'll be there in 3 minutes. What does out of hours look like to you?
Well, I think the key thing you've hit on there is if somebody's going to work with technology to communicate with you, they expect a quick response. They don't expect tomorrow. So if you are going to deal with somebody through technology and you're going to encourage people to engage with that, you've got to be able to respond under a minute. If it's 24 hours, then you've lost that client straight away. That you've lost their engagement. So for me, what it looks like is we have a central team here that works till 8 o'clock at night on a split shift from 8 o'clock in the morning. If a branch can't take a call, they take it within 3 rings. Out of hours, everything comes into them. Sundays, we don't have a branch open now. It's all a central team on a Sunday. But field staff will still work and do appointments, etc. And then Moneypenny come on 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock. But even though Money come on 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock, whether I should expect it or not, my management team monitor every Moneypenny inquiry and will jump on it straight away if there's an opportunity. So it's pretty much, an old-fashioned agent you'd work around the clock anyway. So it hasn't changed that, other than all your notifications come on your phone, they come on your computer, and it's speed of response. And we've got to accept that there are people who want speed of response. So we get offers, we've created all our offers to be completed online. All our viewing requests are confirmed online. But the benefit of all our offers online is they come in 24/7. And we've been able to balance that tech with the personal service. It's working really, really well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time. You've been an incredible guest. I've written pages and pages of notes, so thank you. So I'm sure everybody, whether they're watching, whether they're listening to it on the podcast, whether they're watching it in replay, will take an awful lot. So incredibly grateful. If anybody wants to get in contact with you, Kevin, do you send them to Mike or Paul?
Well, they can come direct to me if you want my email address or anything. I'm not sure they'll want to, but you can. Yeah, it's just Scrupps@pygott-crone.com.
Brilliant. Well,
happy to talk to anybody, or just phone call, anything.
Brilliant. Well, look, Mike Cartwright says, "Oh well." I'll still be knocking though. But thanks very much, everybody. Really grateful for you watching, whether it's lunchtime, whether it's on replay, whether you're listening to podcasts. Thanks very much, Kevin. Thanks for being an amazing guest. On Thursday, I'm going to be joined by Claire Kendall from Richard Kendall. So I look forward to you all joining back then. And next Tuesday, I'm going to be joined by 2 monkeys. And you've got to guess who those 2 monkeys are in the comment section, or send me a message. Kevin, thanks very much again. Really appreciate it. Thank you all, and have a really productive and successful Tuesday afternoon. Bye.
Thank you.